I need to get out of here as fast and as far away as possible. I've had enough of this crap. I definitely can't take another day. I'll just go crazy. With these thoughts in mind, I threw my things into an old travel bag and hastily turned off the light in a small rented Khrushchev-era apartment, teeming with nasty cockroaches. The last straw was the elderly landlady's antics. Granny Ray had always been odd, but sometimes her antics went beyond all bounds. Yesterday, when I came home from work, the apartment was open and reeked of pies. Granny Ray sometimes had fits of preoccupation, trying to feed me. She was watching a show on TV, while Nika, the cat who lived in the apartment with me, gave birth next to her. Granny Ray, glued to the screen, picked up the squeaking kittens and drowned them in a large jar of water. I was shocked. I showed no outward emotion, perhaps due to extreme fatigue. Barely alive, I somehow managed to suppress the urge to vomit and slipped past, trying not to look at the disgusting scene. I spent the rest of the evening in my room. The next day, it all happened again, a heavy wake-up call, coffee, a cigarette, work. I returned to that dingy apartment that evening, tired again. Granny wasn't there, thank goodness. Today was Friday, and I wanted to rest. I decided to draw a bath. I was exhausted, having survived 10 days without a day off, hauling heavy loads as a mover for next to nothing. I felt like a frail old man. I climbed into the hot bath and relaxed. The aches and pains subsided, and my tired mind swam. Suddenly, I noticed an ordinary glass jar filled with a cloudy liquid on the nightstand. Granny Ray had a lot of these. She collected soap scraps in them, filled them with water, and let them steep for washing. I thought it was another jar of soap, but the devil made me check. I reached for it and stirred the contents. Suddenly, a dead kitten's head floated out of the murky water, then several more. I jumped out of the water as if scalded, and ran out of the room, slipping. It's that jar with the kittens. The old idiot just left it in the bathroom. Stupid. Complete idiot. I cursed Granny Ray out loud. That's it. No, I'm not staying here anymore. Not for anything. It's time to admit I haven't settled in New York. It's time to get back to my roots. I didn't have much. I can leave today. I have tickets for the bus that will take me back to my hometown. My pride wouldn't let me turn back, but now I've made up my mind. It's better to live in my hometown like a human being than to drag out a miserable existence in a big city. I wrote to my boss and my landlady, letting them know I was leaving. Frugality helped me save some money. 4 months ago, I took the risk of moving after my father's death. I hoped New York would accept me. I only had enough money to cover my father's medical bills, and a little left over for the first few days. Now I'm coming back. I arrived at night. I stayed at a cheap hostel. In the morning, I started looking for affordable housing. Surprisingly, I quickly found a suitable option through a former classmate, Susie, who had become a realtor. The area was far from the center, quiet. A quiet street with small houses. I liked a 2-story house. It was cozy, like when I was a kid. The interior was old, in need of renovation. Why such a low price? I asked. Susie honestly admitted that half the houses here were abandoned, and the rest were occupied by pensioners. When I asked why the tenants were moving out, she replied that they didn't like the neighbors. I was surprised. What could be wrong with harmless old people? Well, Alex, something like that. Is it suitable? Susie asked with a smile. The rent is low, utilities are included. There's a forest nearby and that same lake. Remember? Of course I remember. Of course I'll take it. I can't pass up a chance like this. I got the keys. Before leaving, Susie warned her sternly. "That's it, if you see a short man with a dark mustache, just ignore him, don't look at him, and especially don't talk to him, no matter what he does. He's an unpleasant type. He often hangs around this neighborhood. But if you don't talk to him, he won't touch you. Just ignore him. A homeless person, or something? Something like that. The local madman. Rumor has it he's somehow connected to the evil spirits. No one knows where he lives, but he often stops by your place." "Well, okay, if we don't notice him, then we'll ignore him. It shouldn't be that hard, even though I think all those rumors are complete nonsense. I don't believe in the devil or God." "Yeah, you haven't changed. You're an adult, you can figure it out yourself. If anything happens, I'll send you the landlord's number." She left. Time flowed on as usual. I found a new job and lived a quiet life. A week later, I developed the habit of looking out the window before bed. One late evening, I noticed a man. He was standing on the other side of the road. An ordinary man, probably drunk. I was about to turn off the light, but then I realized, he was looking straight into my window, straight at me. Studying me carefully. Maybe it's him, that crazy guy. I turned off the light and pressed myself against the wall. He confidently walked toward my house. He was so close that he could see the interior. My first thought was to stay quiet, my second was to check the door. I couldn't remember if I'd locked it. I tiptoed up the stairs and tripped. The door wasn't locked. I quietly turned the key, and the lock clicked. A moment later, the man yanked the doorknob hard. My heart sank into my stomach. I rushed up to the second floor. I watched him until he left. I reassured myself that he'd simply come to the wrong house. But there was no doubt, it was that same madman. A couple of days later, I saw him again at night. It was dark outside. He was holding something furry, the size of a small animal, a cat or a dog. What if I'm just imagining things, and he's walking his pet? I wondered. While I was thinking this, the animal jumped off and ran toward my house, and the man suddenly turned and ran away. Crazy. He's really crazy, flashed through my mind. I was sure the door was locked. It had been too long a day to think about this. Time for bed. I was starting to drift off. Suddenly, something soft and warm touched my shoulder. My tired brain thought it was Nikki the cat. The cat who was cold. She sniffed my skin. Then I felt something wet. She licked me. Her rough tongue felt unnaturally slimy. "Nikki, leave me alone, I want to sleep," I muttered, pushing her away. She made a strange smacking sound and crawled back to my feet. Sleep receded. Realization slowly crept into my head. I wasn't in Grandma's apartment anymore. What Nikki? As soon as it dawned on me, I sat up abruptly in bed and kicked it. It fell and began to slowly move away. But not running. There was a strange, dull sound as it rolled across the wooden floor. "What the hell are you doing?" I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight. I only managed to make out a red ball. It darted around the corner, and the sounds faded. After an hour of convincing myself it was all a dream, I was able to fall asleep again. Over the weekend, I was doing chores and cooking. As I sat down to play video games, a notification from the VK group News in Our City popped up on my laptop. I came across an article, 2 days ago, a certain Steve Breckenston brutally murdered his partner. He stabbed her 28 times, cut off her head, and disappeared. The head was never found. Steve took it with him. Crazy. I scrolled to the photo. An unkempt woman with a shock of red hair and a man with a dark mustache and a face puffy from drinking. It was him. Definitely him. He was standing under the windows, tugging at the doorknob. It's scary to imagine what would have happened if I hadn't checked. My gaze returned to the photo. The woman with red hair. Yesterday, he was holding something in his hands. Could that really be her head? So he was wandering around the street with the head of his dead partner? And then last night I saw something red. Okay, enough, stop thinking about it. Nothing happened. I didn't see anything. I turned off the news. I wasn't in the mood for games. I stared blankly at the TV all evening. Damn it, I had the misfortune to watch it. Sveta had warned me. A whole week passed. I was on edge, barely sleeping. Tired of fear, I decided it was trying to control my lack of sleep. I bought a mild sedative at the pharmacy. Life became more pleasant. The police are looking for the killer. I have nothing to fear. I woke up around midnight, lying on my back. Something was pressing on my chest, I couldn't breathe. I opened my eyes and saw a head. A red, shaggy woman's head. She stared at me, her mouth wide open, her teeth sparse, and started screaming. You looked at him? You looked. You weren't allowed to. You looked. Steve doesn't like this. Horrible. How he doesn't like it. If you're watching, it means you want him to come. Now wait for him. The head screamed shrilly. Then it giggled softly, tumbled backwards, fell to the floor, and rolled toward the doorway, where it stopped at someone's.